Now, to me, the biggest thing going on in the race right now, besides her grown confidence displayed there, besides her stepped up schedule, more events per day, is the message. Dan and I were chatting about this yesterday, switching primarily, it's not all or nothing, but switching primarily from a message about reassurance, her biography, convincing people she's up to the job, to one very much focused on trying to define Donald Trump. There's a new 30-second spot. It's the most important ad, I think, of the campaign to date, at least from the Harris team, because jammed into this ad, not in a negative way, but a very well-produced way, is a synthesis of the message that they hope both inspires the base and persuades some of the undecided voters. So we may even watch it twice. It's so important, but let's at least play it once. 101, please. It's called Total Power.
I'm Kamala Harris. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Donald Trump makes a lot of promises, but we can be sure of one thing. If he wins, he'll ignore all checks that rein in a president's power. It's all in Trump's Project 2025 agenda. What does that mean for you? Higher cost on groceries, cuts to Social Security and Medicare, more tax breaks for billionaires, and a national abortion ban putting women's health at risk. A second Trump term, more unhinged, unstable, and unchecked.
To me, that's the whole thing. If she succeeds with this message, I think her chances of winning are pretty substantial. Dan, what's your view of this message and that ad?
Absolutely. I mean, it is kind of some meat on the bone of the anti-Trump. I mean, again, this is the head version of the anti-Trump message. You know, rather than trying to defend inflation and immigration, she is just going towards things that, you know, people have worries about. And so it's a two-track, you know, anti-Trump message.
Sean.
Look, I would just say I think this is what they're settling on. I think this is clearly where they're going. You can tell the earned media matches the paid media, matches the digital. So clearly this is what they're settling on. I would have to assume this is what their data tells them down the home stretch is what's worked. The question is it too late? Is there enough persuadables left? Obviously, that's something that we're going to see in the days to come. So I mean, I'd be the key, like anything else, like we talked about with early voting, is, you know, when we have this meeting back on Monday or Tuesday, are they sticking with this? Is this consistent? I would guess it is. But I'm just saying we've got to see if this is what they're waiting to do, if this is their slow burn.
Yeah. And, you know, Sean, something that I'm kind of curious to see now are, do House and Senate candidates rally around this same message? Because Democratic House and Senate candidates have kind of been all over the place. You know, a lot of it's local. But you'll know that the data is saying that there's some success here if we start to see others just speak, you know, the same language.
Right. When those guys jump on board the message, you're going to see the same thing. You'll know it's real.
It's not a brand new message. It was Joe Biden's message in 2024.
You know, Mark, I'm so glad I knew I had a brain fade for a second on this. One of the things that some of the folks, even on my side and generally, are going to say, well, Biden tried this. Remember, the same messenger can be delivered much more effectively by a different messenger. And I think that she does sell this better than Biden. Biden did it as like an afterthought. It was always this aloof kind of like, come on, guys, he's a threat. You know, I'm Joe. I think she sells it with more passion. And so the same message can be received differently by different messengers. And I just want, I think some people that I've come across are going, well, that didn't work. Well, it didn't work for Biden. It may work for her.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that's different to me, which is in that spot, they connected to what does this mean for your family, right? Now, the connection may not be totally linear for someone applying rigor, but for a 30-second spot, they say problems with cuts to your Social Security, reproductive freedom, higher prices, right? So it's not a process argument. Because we talk to people all the time who say, I didn't love January 6th, to say the least, but compared to the price of bacon, compared to foreign wars, I'll deal with January 6th. This spot is saying, this message is saying, there's a connection, there's a through line from January 6th to things that will impact your family.
Well, and don't forget, in 2018, Democrats feel like one of their winning messages was, he's trying to take your health care. He's trying to take A, B, C, and D. Like, you got to put us in charge in the House, right? So there is some history here, they think, of going at some of these issues against him to rally undecided voters.